So just how much is an all-new, fully loaded 2022 Chevrolet Silverado ZR2 going to run you? Well, I built it in both Canadian and American pricing. I'm going to show you that today. Not to mention, I want to talk to you about a really cool truck that's finally landed, one of the very first to land in the country of the 2022 refreshed GMC Sierra regular cab short boxes. And I want to talk about another Silverado. It is a 2022 Chevrolet Silverado PPV truck. All this and more. Let's get going. All right, so many of you may be aware, or you may not be aware, that for 2022 in the refresh trucks, General Motors is now bringing out again, or reintroducing the short box regular cab Sierra and Silverados. And I was lucky enough to get pictures of one of the very first short box Sierras to land in the country. And that was given to me, the pictures were given to me by Cesar Rodriguez, who is actually the new car inventory manager at Chevrolet Buick GMC of Sanger in Sanger, California. Now, his is, of course, as you can see here now, in the Pacific blue metallic color. He has added some wheels to it, obviously, to spice it up. But if you're not already aware, currently, the short box is only going to be available with the 2.7-liter four-cylinder turbo. No other motor options, at least for this model year. And it's going to be only in the Pro trim level, which is your entry trim level. So column shift, smaller touchscreen, not a lot of bells and whistles on the inside, but it does allow you the ability to at least customize it up if you want to put, a lift kit on it, or things like that to make it your own, of course, right? But at least they're bringing back that short box regular cab. I'm sure they're going to find if there's some interest in it, that hopefully maybe it'd be nice if they expanded it like we're seeing over in Saudi Arabia and Dubai and things like that. We're seeing regular cab short box AT4s, trail bosses, things like that. It'd be really cool if we could see that come to North America, but at the very least, that's that. So I want to thank, again, Cesar Rodriguez for sharing those pictures with me. And then I also said at the top, what I wanted to show you today very quickly is the new 2022 Chevrolet Silverado PPV truck. And basically what PPV stands for, if you didn't already know so, is the police pursuit vehicle. Now, Chevy has obviously been doing this for the last 25 years with the Tahoe kit. Now, it's based off of a work truck from what I can see, everything I can see. So it's based off, kind of an entry trim level. It is going to be available in the crew cab short box, 4x4, of course. It's going to have the 5.3-liter V8. One of the cool things it's going to have, though, is the 6-piston Brembo brake front calipers with the 16-inch rotors. And it's going to have 20-inch black steel wheels wrapped with Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain speed-rated tires. It's also going to have the Z71 off-road package. Those are all things that's going to come with standard. Now, it does also have the available option of the 2-inch suspension lift, which, of course, we're seeing on our, ZR2 or ZR2, pardon me, the AT4, what else? The Chevy Trail Boss, sorry, of course, custom Trail Boss. So it's going to have that ability to have that 2-inch suspension lift if they do decide that, this one is being used, or this particular PPV truck is being used off-road. But really cool looking. It obviously has all the abilities for all the upfitter switchers, all the options in the inside as well for all the computer equipment that the police department would need. But I just wanted to share that with you in case you hadn't seen. I think it's a pretty cool looking truck, and it's gonna be neat to see them out on the road. Well, as long as we're abiding by the rules, right? Okay, and now what I wanted to talk about from the very start, which is I went online and I built in both Canadian and American pricing the most expensive ZR2 Silverado that I could build. Now, when it comes to Canadian versus American, when it comes to the starting price, the US starting price is $69,245. Interestingly enough, the Canadian starting price is $78,248. That's, of course, both of these are including the destination fees, okay? But what's interesting is, and I don't know if Canada has mixed up on their website, but it looks as though we already know there's been a price increase in these trucks, unfortunately, even since the introduction of the pricing. And on the website, Chevrolet actually has $75,248, plus all the destination, all that kind of stuff as the initial price. But when you go to another area, it actually starts at $76,248, and then you add in, the destination fees. Anyway, point is, there's $1,000 discrepancy there somewhere. But again, we're starting at just over $78,000 Canadian, and again, just over $69,000 American. Now, as far as the truck itself, of course, it comes standard with a massive amount of features, hence why the pricing begins at this price. And if you don't already know this, of course, it's going to have all the new gadgets on the inside in terms of the new screen, the 13.4-inch color touchscreen. It's going to have the 12-inch color screen, custom color screen, in front of the driver. It's going to have the electric center console shift, but it's also going to have things like, of course, factory remote start. Yes, of course. Leather bucket seats, which are not only leather buckets, but they're also heated, they're also cooled, and there's also the 10-way passenger seat in this as well. well. Not to mention they're also memory seats as well. So things you normally get into when you get into an LTZ or LTZ, or if you get into like a high country, right? So you're getting those features as standard right off the top. Not to mention, of course, the 2-inch factory lift, the Multimatic DSSV suspension, the locking front and rear differentials. You can choose obviously to lock and unlock them, which is a really cool feature. The surround vision camera is a standard feature in this as well. Bose sound system. I mean, there's a ton of things that, the trailer brake controller. You're going to get the Goodyear Wrangler Territory tires on this. I mean, again, so what I'm trying to get at, basically, heated steering wheel, things like that. Now, obviously, heated steering wheel, heated seats, and some of these may be coming with it, may not. Point is, you will get it at some point. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make in all this is, of course, it is coming fairly loaded. So there's only a few things that we can add to it, but we certainly can, and we can certainly make this truck become more expensive if we add these things. And there is one big thing that some of you are going to want, which of course will add to the price of the truck. One interesting thing to note when it comes to the actual wheels of this, of course, again, they're wrapped with the Goodyear Wrangler Territory tires, but at least in Canada, it doesn't matter which of the two wheels you get. You have obviously the, machine-faced aluminum color with, the gold accent. That's kind of the standard wheel. But then you can also get into the gloss black aluminum. There is no extra charge in Canada from anything I can see. Interestingly enough, though, in the United States, again, same, machine aluminum color is your standard wheel. But for whatever reason, when you want to go to an 18-inch gloss black aluminum, it says see dealer for pricing. So I'm not really sure what that's about, but that's just one little difference here in terms of the American versus Canadian when we're building the ZR2. But let's just start off with colors first. And this is one interesting thing I found right off the bat between Canada and the United States. In the United States, if you were to order any color, there is virtually no charge for any color, with the exception, at least from what I can see online, with the exception of the Glacier Blue, which costs $395 US. Now, in Canada, what is very interesting about that is there's only 4 colors that don't cost anything, which is black, the Red Hot, the Summit White, and the silver, okay? If you want to get the Dark Ash Metallic, the North Sky Blue Metallic, the Glacier Blue Metallic, or the Sand Dune Metallic, it's $495 Canadian. So $100 difference there. But the weird part, again, is the only color that you pay more for in the United States is the Glacier Blue, whereas in Canada, there's 4 different colors. If you do so choose one of them, that you're going to be paying more for. Now, the package I was just talking about a few moments ago that many of you would probably want when you get to this trim level of truck is the tech package. And basically what that's going to get you is the rear vision camera mirror. It's going to get you adaptive cruise, the power tilt and let me back up here, and telescopic steering column. Now, that'll also made up with the memory seats, which is kind of cool, and the heads-up display. Now, in American pricing, it's $1,970, and Canadian pricing, it's $2,355. Past that, I tried to add one more package at least, which was the Assist Step and Tonneau Cover package, which gets you the 6-inch black rectangular steps and the hard folding tonneau cover. I have a hard time talking today, by Rev. The American pricing on that is $1,895. The Canadian pricing is $2,300. While we're speaking of the running boards, by the way, as a heads up, of course, you do have the option to get rocker guards for these different height. You can get the high clearance steps and so on. But this is just the way I built this particular one. Now, the high clearance steps, I believe, are about $1,300 Canadian. I'm trying to remember how much they were American. But anyways, there is different step options. This is just a package I saw, and I wanted to add it to this build. Engine block heater added. In the United States, that is a $100 option. In Canada, it's $195 option. And then past that, there's one other feature that's actually interesting. It's showing as an option to order online for Canada, but not on the American website. And that is the shielded rear brake caliper. In Canada, it's running at $2,395. And again, in the States, I didn't see a pricing for that, so I've added it to the Canadian pricing for this build. And then, contrary to popular belief, the sunroof is not a standard feature, as I reported, a while back in the ZR2. It is an option. If you want the sunroof in this truck, it's $995 American, or it's $1,325 Canadian. I also thought we should add the off-road sport bar because, again, it was one of the main options of things we could choose. That is $1,295 American, $1,680 Canadian. And then one more thing that I added. Now, it might not be something that many of you would add on this type of truck, but it did offer the trailer mirrors, and the trailer mirrors were $260 US and $300 Canadian. Now, it does come standard with the regular tailgate, okay? You can get the multi-flex tailgate, and that's how I chose to do this one. And if we did choose the multi-flex tailgate, by the way, $445 American and $525 Canadian. The only thing I didn't add, which there was really showing an option of, was tire pressure sensors. It's not going to really change much in terms of the pricing. But what is the overall pricing of this build, of these builds? Well, if we look at the Canadian pricing first, let's talk about that. The Canadian pricing, keep in mind, it has that shielded caliper that wasn't being offered in the American build, was $89,819 plus your lovely taxes, depending on which province you live in. So that's the Canadian pricing on this ZR2. If we look over to the American pricing, the total that I had it out at was $74,705. These trucks are certainly getting up there. Of course, there is a ton of features. It's an amazing truck. I probably didn't even talk about all the things, of course, it comes with, because I've talked about the truck so often that I sometimes forget what I have and haven't mentioned. But point is, that's the build on Canadian-American pricing. Curious what you think. Have any of you out there ordered the ZR2? I mean, there's been some pretty cool ones I've seen online. I've seen some sand dune metallic ones and obviously a lot of the glacier blue, things like that. But anyways, as always, listen, thanks so much for watching. Until the next video, everybody, take care.